Welcome back to the morning show on XL7 TV. It's time for This Week in Real Estate with Mr. Bob Zadora.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Good, good.
Been a couple weeks.
I did. Missed you last week, yes.
A little bit of snow.
little snow, southern thing.
You've been here a long time.
Yeah,
I've been here longer.
Yes, you have.
In the 70s,
Uh-huh.
when we first moved here, it didn't matter how much snow you got. Half inch, no school.
Everything. That was probably a good idea.
There was only one highway department snowplow,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
They didn't have all the salt trucks and all the stuff that we have today. So any bit of snow, nah. Roads were shut down.
It's not a bad idea. I mean, there's a lot of them can't drive in July, let alone, let alone in January
easy now.
with a little salt.
Now
and
you're meddling.
snow. Was a Facebook post I saw.
Oh, yeah, right.
Wind of snow. It was.
No.
So, but it was, there's still some left, which is unusual. Usually,
8 or 9 inches of
Couple
snow.
of days, it's
9 inches
gone.
in places.
Yeah.
That's a lot of snow for this area.
Yeah, we had quite a bit up there. And so I dug a little path over to the thing, and I dug a little path so the dog could get out. And I says, it'll melt. But then, that part melted pretty quick where it was shovel. But the rest of the snow was,
Yeah.
as you all know.
Not a bad snow, though. It's nice to see.
Oh, no. Yeah, well, it's good. It'll be good in the spring.
We don't get
it
that.
in the ground.
We don't get that very often.
No. Oh, no.
I think the last big snow like that we had was 2009 when we had the ice storm. And then we had a bunch of snow on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's been a long time. We were due some good
Yeah,
snow.
and we didn't lose that. I mean, there were no big power outages or anything. It wasn't that.
North Arkansas Electric reported that they had 241 customers out for 5 hours, maybe.
Yeah,
That's
no. I mean, you could have that again. You could have that in July.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Did it slow real estate business down any?
It didn't. The phones were ringing and the internet was humming as it does, and it was good. It was probably a good time. It didn't matter much to Linda. She does a lot of work from home anyway. She's not much of an office girl,
Right.
So she's able to get a lot done from there, and she just carried on. And cut down on the showings,
Sure.
obviously.
Sure.
But as far as information contacts, we're starting to see. Yesterday, we got a call from a guy who picks us up on the internet. I picked up on YouTube, and so he's in Southern California, and he's done with Southern California. Not necessarily the fire zone, but he's done with Southern California. And he wants to come someplace where there's like law and order and normal people and things like that.
This be the place.
This coming to the right place. So he called. We were at a meeting, and I says, I really can't talk right now. I said, but no problem. I saw you on YouTube, and I told my wife that guy's going to be my realtor. I'm like, yeah. Oh, well, thank you very much.
Good.
And then the house that he asked about is one of our listings. He goes, see, I told you, this guy's good. So I said, actually, probably more Linda to get you started. I said, but we'll get you off the ground and see what we can do to help you out.
Yeah.
So I think that we'll see some from there. I don't know that we'll see a lot from there. They're going to have to, there's people that are obviously the tragic thing, and they're going to have to figure out what it is they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. So what's next?
Yeah. And the insurance companies and stuff, and trying to get them to pay, and then California, we're trying to get them to change some of the building codes and stuff so they can get things done faster. That's going to be the biggest, probably one of the bigger hurdles will be that. You can rebuild, but you got to build with this material, and you can't use that. And bureaucrats will get in the way of all of that.
Yeah, it's time for a little bit of change out there.
Yeah, it is. I got some stuff that I was looking up last week when it was Friday when I wasn't here. I wasn't doing it while I wasn't here, but I did it Friday. And trying to get some information from Realtor as far as how the market went last year. Over from 23 to 24. The median home buying age in 2023 was 49 years old, and in 24 it jumped up to 56. A lot having to do with the interest rates and with the economy. First-time home buyers in 23, the average age was 25. In 24, it jumped up to 38. and a few years ago it was 32. And you were seeing that anyway, though, with the kids waiting longer to get married. So, 73% of buyers in 24 did not have a child under 18 living with them, and that's a record high.
Wow.
That's a lot of people moving later. Usually you think you get hunkered down. They're moving. 26% of all the buyers were cash, indicating that the buyers are a little older and richer. 17% of buyers bought multi-generational homes. So they bought a home for them and maybe a young family, or them and mom and dad, where you run into those situations. Typical seller, age of sellers was 63, and that's a record high. Medium number of years sellers owned their home was 10 years. Historically, it's about 6. I think part of that had to do with COVID and people not being able to move. FSBOs were 6%. And with all the technology and all the lawsuit stuff that's going on with NAR and this and that and the other thing, people still realize that the value of the realtor to help them buy and sell a home is well worth the money that it costs to do it. And that 6% is a record low. 6% of sellers use their previous agent or one recommended to them. So I'm recommending to you. He's going to recommend to you, and he's going to recommend to you. Did you call the Z team? 870-405-0793 and talk to my honey. So that's your recommendation. Dr. Young from NAR, his forecast for 25 says that the high deficit is what's keeping the mortgage rates high, and you're seeing that because the bonds markets are still all nutsy, and that keeps going up, and that's what the mortgages are really based on, is the 10-year bond. The mortgage rates will fall some, but not a lot. They're probably lower 6%. It'd be, good lower high 5s maybe. So if you're kind of playing the rate, thinking you're going to get on it, you need to be ready, like in an afternoon, to find a house and get into it, because that's how those rates move. I mean, they may change 3 times in a week. So trying to gauge that, it's like trying to guess stocks, the highs and lows on stocks. That doesn't always work real well. A number that nobody will be surprised at: 20% of the realtors do 80% of the work. I saw things saying that 71% of the realtors didn't have one sale. Now that's everybody who's a realtor. So there's some people, and there are property managers, things like that. But that's still, even if you say half didn't sell one house, that doesn't bode well for them and for their business and how they do business. And I can say that is not us. 90% of their realtors, 90% of buyers and sellers would recommend their realtor to a friend. And we've shown that to be true we've been Pinnacle level agents for the past 10 years with Century 21. The number of recommendations on our webpage. I was down in Little Rock on Monday. I went down for the swearing in for the representatives and for the senators. And so I wasn't able to be, I do KTLO on Monday. And so I wasn't there with Kim. So Kim just went to the webpage and started reading testimonials off the webpage for my 3 minutes of time. So I thought that was pretty cool. So like I say, the rates are going to run mid-low 6s, right? Although it's almost touching 7 again right now, but that's the way the bond market is. But if you can get into the high 5s, you're probably going to be about as happy as you're going to be. We're not going to see 3 4s. If we do, something has gone desperately wrong, and we want to avoid that. So that's where we were for the past year.
There you go. You got any numbers for the last couple weeks?
For this year, for This Week in Real Estate, I do. This Week in Real Estate, there were 29 new listings came on the market, 2 commercial properties, 8 parcels of land, 19 homes came on the market. They range in price from $48,000 to $729,000, and 5 of them are taking backups. So you had 19 homes, 5 of them are. So the market is still moving right along. We had 2 homes that we came out, and they were gone in a day. 22 sales, 6 parcels of land, 16 homes sold. They range in price from $585,000 to $50,000. The average sale price this week was $303,000, 83 days on market. 16 properties expired. There were 36 price changes. Currently, we have 384 homes listed on the MLS. Year to date, so far for 2025, there's been 24 sales. So today's the 16th, there were 24 sales. So it's not bad, house and a half a day. Average sale price this year so far has been $295,000 with 89 days on market. For 2024, there have been 27 homes that sold. Average sale price last year was $245,000. Now this is in a 16-day period, so $245,000 with 89 days on market. In 23, 31 homes had sold with the average sale price of $181,000. In 2020, that was when the rate hit set in. In 2022, there were 51 homes that already sold with an average sale price of $237,000. In 2022, there had been 26 homes sold with an average sale price of $184,000. And in 2020, 34 homes had sold with an average sale price of $143,000. So we're about where we normally would be. We've got a little more inventory, and that's going to help some people being able to pick a little bit more. Eventually, the prices will come down some because of the inventory, because it's supply and demand, and people have got to go. Because the people that are selling that have got those low interest rates, they're selling for a reason. They're not, because they're not looking forward to taking a 4% mortgage and making it a 6.5%. So they've got to go, and that's why they're on the market. So you'll see the prices will settle down a little bit, or even if they don't increase at the same rate that they were, to be up 6% is a pretty big jump year after year after year. So I think it'll kind of settle down a little bit.
It's been a long time since you've had 348 houses on the market.
Yeah, oh yeah, it has been. But I mean, a couple of years ago, we were in the low twos.
Yeah.
And we were happy to have them, because for a while, a couple weeks, I mean, if you go back, they were like, we were in the 70s, 80s for a little while there, and that was it. Stuff was going, people were buying stuff sight unseen, and that's not the case anymore. People are able, because there's 300 houses on the market, people are able to look at more houses. So they can pick and choose that they want. They'll be a little fussier when they're going through these homes, saying, I don't want to take on big projects. I don't want, this bathroom smells funny, whatever. And they'll move on and say, well, I want to see another house. Whereas before they wouldn't do that. They'd, okay, fine, we'll take this one. But you're seeing people being a little fussier, partly for those that have sold a house someplace else, and in their market they were a little fussier. And even for the first-time home buyers, it's always, they kind of forget how to get started, and build a little equity and fix the place up a little bit, and that's what you do, and then you roll that, and they'd roll in the houses every 6 years type thing. That's how you build that generational wealth that you pass on to the kids, and we see that a lot.
How do they get you?
Don't get me. Call my honey. She's at 870-405-0793. The website's retired2arkansas.net. Testimonials are on there. Calendars. Cameras are on there. There's probably a calendar on there someplace too. But give her a call. She does all the scheduling. That's why I joke about that. But because I'd say, oh yeah, sure, we can be there. I'd be wrong. So give her a call. 870-405-0793.
That's been This Week in Real Estate with Bob Zadora. We'll be back in just a moment.